that the main thing for the Lakers is we just can't depend on those two guys anymore. We need a third scorer. We need somebody who can get us 15 to 18 points every single game. And that's
this team, their championship window, they did something Magic and the Lakers never did. They won the championship, they were feeling themselves.
The latest buzz around the Los Angeles Lakers wasn't sparked by a tough loss, a blockbuster trade, or a standout performance on the court. Instead, it came from something far more telling, two of basketball's biggest voices reaching the same uncomfortable conclusion. When Stephen A. Smith and Magic Johnson find common ground on the Lakers, it's usually a sign the discussion has gone beyond hot takes and into something much more serious. The message they're both sending is straightforward, even if it's difficult for Lakers fans to accept. This team simply hasn't lived up to the expectations surrounding it. The debate began from a place of frustration as well. Stephen A. Smith, who never shies away from breaking down the Lakers with intensity, argued that the organization continues to deal with deeper structural issues. Magic Johnson, who rarely joins public criticism unless he truly believes it's warranted, voiced concerns that pointed in a very similar direction. They arrived there from different perspectives and different experiences, but the takeaway was the same. The Lakers are falling short of where they should be, and the time for waiting patiently is running out.
At the end of the day, here's the reality. Lakers gonna have to make a change. Now, whether it's a trade or whatever, or the changing of the coach,
the heart of this conversation is really about what the Lakers are supposed to represent. This isn't a franchise that's expected to be patient through a rebuild. It's an organization judged by championships, star power, and the spotlight that comes with playing in Los Angeles. Because of that, every rough stretch gets treated like a major problem instead of just another bump in the season. That's why it matters when both Stephen A. Smith and Magic Johnson are delivering a similar message. They know better than most that with the Lakers, explanations only go so far before results become the only thing that matters. Much of their concern comes down to one issue: consistency. Some nights, the Lakers look every bit like a legitimate contender, sharing the ball, defending with energy, and finishing games with composure. Then the next game, the offense feels out of sync, the pace slows down, and the team looks disconnected. That's the pattern both analysts focused on, even though they approached it from different angles. Stephen A. Smith stressed the need for urgency and accountability, while Magic Johnson highlighted leadership and the importance of strong basketball fundamentals. Different perspectives, but the same conclusion: the Lakers still haven't shown the stability expected from a true contender.
They can't exploit it. The Lakers' weaknesses, they ain't got bigs. If this was early 2000s and Tim Duncan and Shaquille O'Neal were just walking around, Amari Stoudemire walking around, I would care. If it was late 90s and Charles Barkley, Hakeem, Karl Malone were walking around, it would matter. But the biggest weakness for the Lakers, they do not have bigs, thus they do not have depth at big, but it's irrelevant because that's not the day and age of the NBA currently.
The numbers only add to those concerns. The Lakers have put together some impressive defensive stretches, but their offense still tends to change from game to game depending on the matchup and the spacing on the floor. Costly turnovers in crucial moments, inconsistent three-point shooting, and unreliable production from the bench have made it difficult for the team to build lasting momentum. For a franchise with championship expectations, that level of inconsistency is a serious problem. And when someone like Magic Johnson points those issues out, it carries more weight than ordinary analysis. It starts to sound like a warning. That's also where the conversation moves beyond basic criticism. When two respected voices reach the same uncomfortable conclusion, it naturally makes everyone take another look at what they believed about this team. Are the Lakers actually built to compete for a championship, or have they been relying too much on their reputation, star power, and occasional flashes of strong basketball? That's the question now driving so much of the NBA conversation, and right now, there isn't a simple answer.
Yeah, I wish we would have seen how this team would have looked, but now they have some decisions to make. I think they need some bigs, they need some shooting, they need to get younger, they need to get a little more athletic on the wing, on the perimeter, defensive-wise. So
what keeps getting overlooked isn't the Lakers' talent level, it's whether all the pieces actually fit together. This roster has the experience, star power, and defensive tools to match up with anyone, but the bigger question is whether everyone understands their role and the team's identity.
Too often, the flow changes from game to game. Lineups shift, the offense follows whoever has the hot hand, and that lack of stability turns into inconsistent basketball. When players aren't operating within a clear structure, confusion follows, and that's usually reflected in the results. Stephen A. Smith has consistently stressed that time is not on the Lakers' side, pointing to their aging stars and the shrinking championship window. From his perspective, every season carries enormous pressure because opportunities like this don't last forever. Magic Johnson looks at the same situation from another angle, putting the spotlight on leadership, execution, and having a clearly defined identity. He's often reminded people that the best Lakers teams always knew exactly who they were, and he believes this group is still searching for that identity. That's where the frustration comes from. Before every season, the Lakers are talked about as championship favorites across the media and among fans. Yet once the games begin, they often land somewhere between a true contender and an inconsistent playoff team. That disconnect is exactly what Stephen A. continues to question, while Magic has quietly acknowledged the same concern in his own way. The bigger issue is that the Lakers still haven't closed that gap quickly enough. Coaching and system discussions only add more fuel to the conversation, because despite adjustments, critics believe the team still depends more on individual brilliance than consistent execution. When the stars have to carry so much offensively, role players can struggle to find rhythm, rotations become less reliable, and the team's performance swings from looking elite one night to completely out of sync the next. In the NBA, that's often the difference between legitimate championship teams and rosters that simply appear championship caliber on paper. The concern grows even more once expectations and reality stay separated for too long. In Los Angeles, patience is always limited, so every losing stretch becomes a major story. Every rotation decision gets dissected, and analysts begin questioning the foundation of the team instead of just individual performances. Suddenly, the conversation shifts from polishing a contender to wondering whether the roster itself needs fixing. Magic Johnson's voice carries extra weight because he understands exactly what championship basketball with the Lakers is supposed to look like. When he highlights problems, it's based on years of experience, with teams built around fast execution, strong leadership, and relentless consistency. That's why his agreement with Stephen A. resonates with so many people. The emotional side matters too, because the Lakers aren't judged like an ordinary NBA franchise. Their championship history and worldwide reputation raise expectations for everyone involved, making every loss feel bigger, every inconsistency more noticeable, and every criticism much louder than it would be for most teams.
One thing that quietly connects both Stephen A. Smith's and Magic Johnson's viewpoints is the question of leadership on the court. The Lakers have no shortage of star talent, but the team doesn't always have the same leadership presence from game to game because it shifts with availability, matchups, and how each contest unfolds. Without a steady voice guiding the team, late-game execution can fall apart. Tight games become more difficult to finish, momentum changes are tougher to stop, and in the playoffs, those little breakdowns can decide an entire series. Fans have been split over the fact that Stephen A. Smith and Magic Johnson are seeing the situation in a similar way. Some view it as proof that the Lakers still haven't reached the level everyone expected. Others feel the criticism is overblown and fails to account for the normal ups and downs that come with every NBA season. Still, when a prominent media analyst and one of the greatest Lakers in franchise history are making the same point, it's not something that's easy to ignore. Here's what often gets overlooked. The Lakers aren't judged only by today's competition. They're measured against the championship teams that built the franchise's legacy. That's a completely different standard. Most NBA teams can go through inconsistent stretches without creating panic, but with the Lakers, every season is compared to past title-winning eras, bringing a level of pressure that numbers alone can't explain. That pressure also changes how every player is evaluated. Whenever the team struggles, the spotlight on individual performances becomes even brighter. The stars are expected to carry more responsibility, role players are questioned about consistency, and every lineup adjustment quickly turns into a major discussion. With every game analyzed in real time, it becomes much harder to separate actual progress from temporary setbacks. Another interesting part of this conversation is that Stephen A. Smith and Magic Johnson represent two completely different basketball perspectives. Stephen A. reflects today's media environment, built around urgency, instant accountability, and non-stop debate. Magic brings the mindset of championship basketball, emphasizing leadership, execution, and a clearly defined team identity. When both viewpoints arrive at the same conclusion, it usually signals that the issue is obvious from multiple angles. As the season moves forward, expect this discussion to keep growing. Every winning streak will still be questioned, every losing stretch will add fuel to the criticism, and every adjustment will be viewed through one lens. Are the Lakers creating a true championship identity, or are they simply repeating the same inconsistent pattern? In the end, the biggest issue isn't whether Stephen A. Smith or Magic Johnson is individually right. The real question is whether their shared opinion reveals a deeper reality about the Lakers' current identity. When two respected basketball voices from completely different eras reach the same honest conclusion, the conversation moves beyond opinion and becomes something the organization may have to confront sooner rather than later.